Okay, today I would like us to walk through a case from start to finish. So where I'm going to start is this patient has shown up to our office for a consultation, second opinion, to have tooth number 3 needs to come out because of decay and pain on the tooth from the decay. And her previous dentist and specialist had mentioned that they need to take the tooth out, let it heal, do an internal sinus lift and implant placement 4 to 6 months down the road. And she wanted an opinion of if not, if we could do it in a faster way. And then she's also looking for a place that can do it from start to finish. So let's take a look. So she comes in for consultation. Our team goes ahead and takes a scan because otherwise we can't really evaluate the ability to place an implant. Now we can evaluate whether the tooth needs to come out or not from a PA, but certainly can't evaluate the ability for the implant. So when we walk in, this is all ready for me up, and what I'll do is I'll just double click over here to tooth number 3, and now I'm going to evaluate. So one of the first things I'm seeing here is we have roots that go up to the sinus, so I'm already starting to think, well, maybe there isn't enough room to extend beyond the sinus, beyond the tooth to gain primary stability. We start to wonder of whether or not immediate placement is an option. But what I like to do visually is I like to mentally draw out the tooth, just like so. There's a bone, just like so. There's the outline of the root. You can see a little bit of residual infection there, and just like so. So what I'm seeing here is that what I really have in this particular situation is I have good bone right here. Okay, and then depending on the implant placement, I may have good bone right here as well. Now, I'm not going to off place my implant just to utilize good bone, so I'm not going to compromise the restorative outcome, but mentally this is what I'm visually looking at of whether or not this works for an immediate placement. So the other area I'll go to, and probably more importantly, is I'll go right here. And here we can see, and let's go ahead and draw out here as well. Here what we can see is, here's the outline of our root, just like so. Outline of our root. Now what I'm able to see here, more importantly, in this particular view is, look at all this great bone right here. Now this is bone that we can utilize to stabilize our implant. Now there's a chance I may need to go up here into the sinus to get stability, but now you can start to see what kind of bone we have here to be able to stabilize our implant. And now suddenly immediate placement starts looking like an option from the sense that I'm going to get stability. Now length may be an issue, and we may have to do a little bit of a sinus lift at the same time, but we've had tremendous success doing that as well. So I can already say that if I can get this tooth out atraumatically, which we can, and if I can use an implant that is aggressive and allows for primary stability, listen, I'm very comfortable going ahead and doing an immediate placement here. So that's how we determine whether or not an immediate placement is ready. And then what you can see here is what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and planned our implant. And let's move back and boom, right there. Our implant is going to be into fresh bone there. Now this is a rough plan. I haven't planned it based on ideal positioning, but right now I just wanted to get it in there. And here we can see we planned for a 5 by 10 millimeter implant. That 10 millimeters is the length I like to get. So we can see here we go into the sinus, but that'll be easy. And in actuality, what I'll end up doing here is we'll plan for 5 by 8.5. You see how that comes right to the base of the sinus. We'll drill our osteotomy there. We'll take an osteotome and then we'll up fracture this area. We'll probably place a little bit of a collagen plug here after we lift the membrane, and then we'll pack a little bone in and then drive the implant in. And the implant at the same time will lift the collagen plug, which will protect the membrane, and the bone will push the membrane out some more, and then we can put a 10 millimeter implant in and get a slightly longer implant, which will make me a little more comfortable. Not necessary, but a little more comfortable. So now we're ready to move forward. So at this time, we go ahead and have our CEREC machine ready. so that we can go ahead and save our patient a visit, and we go ahead and capture our CEREC images. Now that's already been done, and now we're ready to go ahead and import our CAD-CAM data because our patient here has decided to move forward, and or she wants to think about it. Even if she wants to think about it, what we'll be able to do is save her visit. We've gone over the risk benefit alternatives. We've shown her everything. She's obviously very impressed with everything, and we're ready to move forward on our end. So I want to go ahead and capture the information and data while she's here, so her next visit is ready to move forward with the implant. So we capture our CAD-CAM data. We go here to our CAD-CAM button. We click import. And now we're going to go tell the software where is our SSI file, and our SSI file is right here. So I've exported this from CEREC, and now we're ready to import it into Galaxis for our implant planning. We'll verify, and here you can see that right now CEREC requires us to plan a fake tooth there. So I went ahead and planned a fake tooth on number 3. We could have planned it anywhere on the arch, but again, my preference is to plan it on tooth number 3. We verified this to the right patient. We click next, and now we're ready to integrate the data. Now, I will not use this tooth to integrate, I will not use this tooth to integrate, I will not use this tooth to integrate, or I will not use this tooth to integrate. So what I would like to do is use the canine. So I'll double click on the canine on the surface scan, double click roughly in the same spot on the canine on the 3D scan, and then I'll double click on the canine, tooth number 11 here, tooth number 11 here, and we'll put everything together. Now we're ready to click next. The minimum requirement is 2 points of interest. More can be used, but sometimes more is not necessarily better. And what we're going to look at here is whether or not we have good, accurate data capture. So I'll use the various zoom tools here, and we'll just go through. And if we take a closer look here, we can see how nicely our surface data is marrying up with our tooth data. So I'm confident that we have a very good, accurate, data integration here. Okay. So I'm going to take that back. While it looks good right here, see, but it's not. You can actually see right here where this tooth is there and there, this tooth is there and there. So that's the beauty of doing this stuff live, is sometimes we'll catch things. So now that we see that we have an error here, what I'm going to do is go back. I'm going to delete my common points of interest, and I'm going to check, first thing is, did I do it on the wrong teeth? Or better yet, should I do it on different teeth? So this time we're going to go to different teeth, just like so. And this time I'm also going to add a third tooth, tooth number 9, tooth number 9. And now we're going to go ahead and click forward. So now we'll see, again, I think we look better here now. So now, yes we do. Now we can see how better we flow. And right here we can see how before we may have had a gap there. And this is a better integration. So this was a good video in the sense that we saw a mistake being made, how to recognize it, because it was quite easy for me to miss that mistake because it looked pretty accurate, but it really wasn't when I looked all the way around. So now we're ready to confirm. And now we'll have our CEREC data. Now, remember we designed a fake restoration? So right here in the CAD-CAM data, we can see these 2 eyeballs here. This is for the impression, this is for the restoration. We're going to go ahead and remove the restoration because it's not designed remotely accurately. We're going to go to our implant align view. And now we're going to go through my little checklist. So mesiodistally, the implant looks well placed, avoids the adjacent teeth. Buccolingually, here's the outline of our ridge. There's the outline of our ridge. We look very good there. So now we're kind of ready to look at bone level. And our bone level is right here. Now you may say that's pretty deep. My experience has been in the posterior when we take these teeth out that we see about 1.5 millimeters of resorption. So if we suspect that this is our bone level right here, I want to dial in about 1.5 millimeters, and that's where I want to plan my implant, as you can see right there. So guesstimating from experience, I'm going to use 1.5 millimeters as my distance that I'm going to plan it subcrestal for an immediate placement in the posterior, because honestly I'd rather have a slightly deep implant than not slightly deep. So I think we're ready to go there. And then the next thing that we're going to look at is our occlusal table. And here what we're going to see is that our implant looks to be coming dead out of the center of this tooth. And right here you can see there is our central groove. So we look very good. We want that implant to come dead out of that center of that tooth there. The next thing we'll look at is our occlusal plane. And here we can see that that looks pretty level. Looks like we're going to come straight up and down, and we're centered mesiodistally. So now we have a good plan and we're ready to rock and roll. In this particular case, I am going to plan on doing a little bit of a sinus lift, so I'm comfortable with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring that implant down just a hair right there. So in looking at this, there's my interproximal bone. That's always going to be higher. Remember that bone architecture goes where the interproximal bone is higher. Then there's the scallop of the facial and lingual bone. So we're going to move that in. And here in our 360 view, we can see that while right here we're into the cortical plate of the sinus, here we can see the distal half of the implant apex is slightly into the sinus. So now we're ready to move forward and order our surgical guide. And we're going to go to the surgery tab, click order surgical guide, and it's going to pop up with the information here. We have the option for a classic guide, sending a box, OptiGuide via digital technologies, which is what we're going to do, or OptiGuide via a box if we have to send in a model because we don't have CEREC data. So in this case, we have all the CEREC data. We are ready to go. We click www. The sleeve system, in this particular case, we're doing a Nobel implant, so we're going to do a Nobel sleeve. And any additional information, I would write here, I understand the implant is penetrating the sinus. We intend to do a minor sinus bump. There we go. So that way, instead of them sending it back saying, hey, did you realize that you put your implant in the sinus? I've already gone ahead and avoided that potential issue by going ahead and letting them know that I recognize that. We click next. It has my information in here. It has my purchaser address. I'm going to ship it to my office. I have a recurring charge authorization. I'm not going to show you guys my credit card number. And we can go from here, and here we can see our guide is $352, all inclusive. I'm going to agree to their conditions. And then we're going to go ahead and click confirm. Transfer data via internet. We'll see that the order is going to be placed under the C drive in CCAT orders. And now we're going to click prepare data transfer. Now at this point, the software is exporting all the data, putting it together in a zipped file, in a compressed file, to be able to send digitally to CCAT versus having to send multiple different files. It puts everything together for us, and this way we'll be able to get everything to them pretty straightforward. Now it's exporting the CAD/CAM file, and now it's creating a single order file, compressing everything and putting it together. So again, I have found that after 5 years, this is the most efficient workflow for implant dentistry. We're able to capture the data, capture the 3D data. We're able to put everything together. We're able to plan in front of the patient. We're able to put everything together and order the surgical guide directly. I don't have to export. I don't have to import. I don't really have to do any type of manipulation of the data set. Yes, maybe the guide costs a little bit more, but certainly it's put together. It's going to come back in about a week. It's going to come back with the guarantee of accuracy, and it's going to come back known that it's following the manufacturer's protocol, so that when I go to place the drills and place the implant, we're following the rules of how everything looks. So again, at this point it's still compressing, and we're ready to go. This is the most irritating part of this. It's just waiting for it to compress everything and put everything together. This is always dependent upon the speed of your computers. This is not a slow computer. This is not a super fast computer. This is pretty much an average computer, probably about a $700 computer that I purchased. Now once it's doing all of this, it's going to pull up the CCAT website. We're going to go down here to the Dropbox portal. We're going to click on it, and now it's going to ask us to go ahead and place, to tell it where it is. And I've done enough of these, and so it memorized my name and email address. But just in case, I'll go ahead and put it in there again. And then we're going to go to select file. And remember, this is in the CCAT orders. And there's our patient. Let me back up here. We can go to the C drive, CCAT orders. There's our patient. And there's our order. See, here's the zip file. Click it, press open. And now it's putting everything together. And now we're going to simply press send it. Now once I press send it, this is going to digitally transfer this to Germany, and CCAT is going to receive the order today. I'll receive a confirmation email, probably about 15 minutes that they received it. I'll receive another confirmation email saying that they've accepted the order and that it's going into manufacturing production. And then I'll receive a third email saying the implant guide is being sent back to me, usually about 4 days later. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you.